Okay guys, Rosie on the streets of Baltimore here, and we're at the Greenmount Cemetery today. We're going to see if we can go look up a pretty infamous person to see where they're buried in here, so let's head inside. Hi.
Hi.
I guess I wanted to take a look at John Booth Cemetery. Is here?
Sign in over there.
Sign in here. I'm sure you get a lot of people come through for that. A little direction there, huh?
There's your list of the most visited. John's number 71. Those numbers correspond with the numbers on the map. He's right over here in the dogwood area.
Okay, where are we?
You're right here.
Oh, so he's real close.
Right out.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. You guys are the best. Appreciate it. We got a little mappy, guys. See where John the Booth grave is, huh? This would be a first for me too. A fucking spooky place. We used to come over here when I was a kid and run up and down and jump on all this shit. And you guys are gonna cringe when you see this neighborhood when we get out of here. But the whole place is like a freak show over here. But you got to do it in this for the right. You got to do it for the sake of entertaining the troops back home. So let's get on to that cemetery. Well, what do you think of Booth? I mean, you're a black man, you know. I mean, he was shot Lincoln.
Yeah, he probably shot one of the 30 massacres.
That's right. I think it's sad. I feel creepy being this close to somebody that could do something like that.
Yeah,
you know,
happens at the top, baby.
You know, it comes to, I bet some spooky shit goes on around here too. Some people do some crazy crap in here, huh? Or they lock it up pretty tight.
Yeah, we lock it up.
But, you know, I feel creepy being around here, you know, spooky and stuff.
You know, he got two, his conspirators in here too.
Yes. Yeah, Chestnut. Yeah.
And Michael Lock.
Yeah. Yeah, but all right, thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you. That's the caretaker's the cemetery here, guys. Kind of creepy, you know. It creeps me out a little bit. Being this close to somebody that changed the course of history so radically, and you know, when you think about John Wilkes Booth assassinating President Lincoln. Here's a guy that came from one of the greatest American acting families. They were like the, what would you call them in their day? The, I don't know, the big time actors. Who the hell knows? But, you know, to have changed the course of history like that and assassinated the president just brought unending shame upon the family. For that. Well, this is where he's buried here, and the caretaker tells me a couple of his co-conspirators are buried here too. An unmarked grave. I guess they're afraid, but I'm imagining this is it, because he said people leave pennies and things on it, and there's some dead flowers there. So, you know, it's all kind of creepy to me. But well, I don't know. Yeah, guys, when you think of how hard it came down on the South, which is exactly what Lincoln didn't want to happen after the war with the Reconstruction and all that, This was the tragedy of Booth. Not so much, you know, of course it was terrible that President Lincoln died. It was terrible that such an esteemed family of actors was forever shamed, and the name Booth, you know, whenever you hear that, it just it rings a bell. It rings a bell of death. And the Booth family was one of the greatest. Edwin Booth and John Wilkes were two of the greatest actors of their time in the United States, and they just happened to be in town when Lincoln was going to see a play that night at Ford's Theater. Alright, well, I'm glad I ran into the caretaker. He says this place is locked up pretty tight at night, and it's really, really, really in a bad neighborhood. When we leave here today, I'll just hook up the bloggy and you can see it, but I would imagine the locals don't go hanging in here too much. That's for sure. Alright guys, thought you might enjoy that little bit of Baltimore, the Booth family.